Marcus never imagined that a simple breakfast choice would become a matter of life and death. At 52, this father of three had just finished his second round of chemotherapy when his oncologist pulled him aside. "Marcus," she said, looking at his latest blood work with deep concern, "we need to talk about your diet. Some foods you're eating might be working against your treatment." The room went silent. Marcus thought he was being healthy. Whole grain cereals, lean proteins, the occasional energy drink to combat his debilitating fatigue. But what he didn't know was that certain foods sitting in his pantry right now could be sabotaging his body's ability to fight cancer cells and potentially undermining months of grueling treatment. Here's the shocking truth that most oncologists don't have time to explain. Did you know that eating the wrong foods can actually fuel cancer growth and interfere with life-saving treatments? According to the Global Burden of Disease Project, approximately 34,000 cancer deaths per year worldwide are directly attributable to harmful dietary choices. That's more than the population of many cities, and these deaths are largely preventable. The research is staggering and growing more alarming each year. Studies from leading institutions like Memorial Sloan Kettering, Johns Hopkins, and the National Cancer Institute have revealed that certain foods don't just fail to help cancer patients, they actively sabotage recovery by feeding tumors, suppressing immune function, and interfering with chemotherapy effectiveness. If you or someone you love is battling cancer, this video could literally change the trajectory of your treatment. I'm going to reveal the 12 most dangerous foods that cancer patients should avoid, and the scientific evidence behind why each one poses a real threat to recovery. This isn't generic healthy eating advice. This is about foods that can determine whether your treatment succeeds or fails. But here's what really surprised me during months of research. The food that landed at number 12 on this list is something most people consider a health food. It's probably sitting in your kitchen right now, and you might even be eating it daily because you think it's good for you. This food can actually make cancer medications dangerously toxic in your bloodstream, potentially causing hospitalization or even death. Stay with me until the end, because that last food on this list is the most surprising and potentially the most dangerous. Please note, this video is for educational purposes only and should not replace professional medical advice. Every cancer case is unique, and dietary needs vary greatly depending on your specific diagnosis, treatment plan, and overall health status. Always consult with your oncologist, registered dietitian, or healthcare team before making any dietary changes during cancer treatment. All right, here's the list of foods you should avoid if you're dealing with cancer. Let's start with number 1. Processed and deli meats. Picture this. It's lunchtime, and you're reaching for what seems like a quick, protein-rich option, a turkey sandwich with deli meat. But here's what's happening inside that seemingly innocent slice. Processed meats like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, and deli meats contain nitrates and nitrites, chemical preservatives that convert into nitrosamines in your body. The World Health Organization classifies these compounds as Group 1 carcinogens, meaning they're proven to cause cancer in humans. When nitrites enter your stomach's acidic environment, they undergo a chemical transformation that creates N-nitroso compounds. These compounds directly damage DNA, promote tumor growth, and can accelerate cancer progression. For someone already fighting cancer, this additional DNA damage can be catastrophic. Research published in the International Journal of Epidemiology found that food additive nitrates and nitrites were positively associated with breast and prostate cancer progression rates. Even more alarming, higher exposure levels correlated with faster disease progression and reduced treatment effectiveness. Even meats labeled as nitrate-free or uncured aren't safe. These products typically use celery powder or sea salt as preservatives, which your stomach converts into nitrites anyway. The end result is the same: cancer-causing compounds forming in your digestive system. Do you currently eat deli meat regularly? If so, it's time to seriously reconsider this choice. Next, number 2. Refined sugar and high-sugar foods. Imagine cancer cells as tiny engines that run exclusively on glucose. Every time you consume refined sugar, Whether it's in sodas, candies, pastries, or even that healthy granola bar, you're essentially feeding the very cells you're trying to eliminate. Research from UC San Francisco shows that cancer cells utilize 50 to 100 times more glucose than normal cells. They have up to 10 times more insulin receptors on their surface, making them extraordinarily effective at absorbing sugar from your blood. High sugar intake triggers massive insulin spikes, which increases insulin-like growth factor 1, or IGF-1. IGF-1 acts like fertilizer for cancer cells, promoting their growth, division, and ability to spread throughout your body. But here's the most insidious part. Sugar suppresses your immune system for up to 5 hours after consumption. Your white blood cells become sluggish and less effective at destroying cancer cells. When your body is already compromised by treatment, this immune suppression can be devastating. Recent research from the National Cancer Institute revealed that while fructose doesn't directly fuel cancer cells, your liver converts it into specific lipids that cancer cells absorb to build new cell membranes, literally providing building materials for tumor growth. Which sugary foods are hardest for you to give up? Let me know in the comments. Next, number 3. Alcohol. Here's a scenario that plays out in many households. After a brutal treatment day, someone suggests a glass of wine to help you relax. But alcohol and cancer treatment form a dangerous combination. Alcohol metabolism produces acetaldehyde, a group 1 carcinogen that directly damages DNA and proteins throughout your body. This interferes with your body's ability to repair itself and respond to treatment. Alcohol systematically depletes crucial nutrients your body desperately needs: folate, vitamin B12, thiamine, and zinc. These aren't optional. They're essential for DNA repair, immune function, and cellular healing. Your liver is already working around the clock to process chemotherapy drugs and other medications. Adding alcohol creates dangerous competition for vital enzymes, potentially reducing treatment effectiveness or increasing toxic side effects. European research following over 50,000 cancer patients found that those who consumed alcohol during treatment had significantly higher rates of treatment failure, increased complications, and poorer overall survival rates. Have you considered how alcohol might be affecting your treatment outcomes? Next, number 4. Highly processed foods. Walk down any grocery aisle, and you'll see them. Foods with ingredient lists that read like chemistry textbooks. These ultra-processed foods create chronic inflammation throughout your body, transforming your internal environment into a breeding ground for cancer progression. A massive study in the British Medical Journal followed over 100,000 participants and found that every 10% increase in ultra-processed food consumption correlated with a 12% increase in cancer risk. For someone already battling cancer, these foods can hijack your natural healing processes. Ultra-processed foods contain emulsifiers that severely disrupt your intestinal barrier function, creating leaky gut syndrome. This allows toxins and inflammatory compounds to leak directly into your bloodstream, triggering immune responses that promote tumor growth. Artificial preservatives like BHA and BHT have been linked to increased oxidative stress and DNA damage. These foods also contain advanced glycation end products that bind to cellular receptors and trigger inflammatory pathways that accelerate cancer progression. What's the most processed food currently sitting in your pantry? Next, number 5. Charred or grilled meats. When meat is cooked at high temperatures, whether grilled, broiled, or fried, it creates heterocyclic amines, or HCA, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAH. These are some of the most potent carcinogens known to science. HCA form when amino acids, sugars, and creatine react at temperatures above 300 degrees Fahrenheit. PAH form when fat drips onto heat sources, creating smoke that deposits cancer-causing compounds back onto the meat's surface. Research from MD Anderson shows these compounds are intensely mutagenic, directly altering DNA structure. They accumulate in your body over time and bind to DNA, dramatically increasing mutation risk. The charred, blackened parts contain the highest concentrations. A single well-done hamburger can contain carcinogen levels equivalent to cigarette smoke in cancer-causing potential. Temperature control makes an enormous difference. Marinating meat in acidic solutions can reduce HCA formation by up to 96%. Do you frequently eat grilled meats? Consider modifying your cooking methods. Next, number 6. Trans fats and hydrogenated oils. Found in margarine, commercial baked goods, and fried foods. Trans fats are molecular saboteurs created through partial hydrogenation. They create unnatural structures your body struggles to process. Trans fats fundamentally alter cell membrane composition, making every cell more susceptible to damage and less responsive to treatment signals. They dramatically increase inflammatory cytokines that promote tumor growth and metastasis. These artificial fats interfere with your body's ability to use anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids, creating a double negative effect, promoting inflammation while blocking anti-inflammatory processes. Even consuming just 2% of daily calories from trans fats increases disease progression risk substantially. Check your pantry. Do any foods contain partially hydrogenated oils? Next, number 7. High sodium foods. That innocent can of soup might contain over 1,000 milligrams of sodium, nearly half your daily limit. High sodium creates chronic inflammation and can seriously compromise recovery. Research from Johns Hopkins revealed that high sodium diets significantly reduce immunotherapy effectiveness by altering gut microbiome composition. Your gut bacteria help determine whether treatments succeed or fail. High sodium promotes harmful bacterial growth while suppressing beneficial strains that support anti-cancer immunity. This can reduce immunotherapy response by up to 40%. Salt forces kidneys to work harder, particularly dangerous for patients receiving kidney-damaging chemotherapy drugs. Processed foods are the biggest culprits. A single frozen dinner often contains an entire day's sodium. Do you check sodium labels when shopping? Next, number 8. Artificial sweeteners. Many people switch to artificial sweeteners thinking they're healthier, but research suggests this might backfire for cancer patients. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin significantly disrupt gut bacteria balance. Since 70% of your immune system is in your gut, this disruption severely impacts your cancer-fighting ability. Beneficial bacteria that support immune function are reduced, while harmful species proliferate. This creates an internal environment that may actually support tumor growth. Some studies suggest certain sweeteners interfere with glucose metabolism and medication absorption when taken simultaneously. Have you considered how artificial sweeteners might affect your immune function? Next, number 9. Raw or undercooked foods. During cancer treatment, your compromised immune system makes you 10 times more likely to develop serious foodborne illness complications that could derail treatment. Raw fish, undercooked eggs, unpasteurized dairy, and raw sprouts harbor dangerous bacteria like Salmonella, E. coli, and Listeria. Listeria is particularly dangerous, surviving at refrigerator temperatures and causing potentially fatal infections. The neutropenia, low white blood cell count, from chemotherapy makes fighting even small bacterial loads extremely difficult. What healthy immune systems clear naturally can overwhelm compromised systems. Food safety becomes critical. Proper handling, storage temperatures, and avoiding cross-contamination are essential survival strategies. Are there raw foods you've been consuming that need reconsidering? Next, number 10. Excessive red meat. While moderate lean red meat provides important nutrients, excessive consumption poses significant risks beyond colorectal cancer links. Red meat contains high levels of heme iron, promoting oxidative stress that damages DNA, proteins, and cell membranes. It also contains NU5GC, which triggers inflammatory immune responses as your body recognizes it as foreign. A comprehensive meta-analysis in the Lancet Oncology found that high red meat consumption was associated with increased inflammation markers, faster cancer progression, and reduced treatment effectiveness, High-temperature cooking creates additional carcinogenic compounds. Heavy red meat consumption typically displaces cancer-fighting vegetables and protective compounds from your diet. How many times per week do you eat red meat? Next, number 11. Energy drinks and high-caffeine beverages. Cancer fatigue makes energy drinks appealing, but they contain dangerous combinations of caffeine, sugar, and synthetic compounds that can interfere with recovery. A single can contains 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine, severely disrupting the 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep cancer patients need for optimal treatment response and immune function. They also contain 25 to 40 grams of sugar, creating glucose spikes that directly feed cancer cells. Combined with synthetic stimulants like taurine and guarana, these drinks can interact unpredictably with medications. High caffeine increases anxiety and depression while causing dehydration that worsens kidney function, particularly dangerous for patients receiving nephrotoxic drugs. Have you been relying on energy drinks to combat fatigue? Next, number 12. Grapefruit. Here's the food that surprises everyone. Grapefruit. Most people consider it healthy, packed with vitamin C and antioxidants. But for cancer patients taking medications, grapefruit can be life-threatening. Grapefruit contains furanocoumarins that irreversibly inhibit CYP3A4, an enzyme responsible for metabolizing 50% of all drugs, including many cancer medications. When blocked, drug levels can skyrocket to toxic, potentially lethal levels. Clinical pharmacologist David Bailey discovered this interaction 30 years ago. Just one grapefruit can block enzymes for 60 to 72 hours. Timing doesn't matter for safety. You cannot safely consume grapefruit by separating it from medications. The list of affected drugs has grown from 85 in 1989 to 121 today, including many oral cancer drugs like tyrosine kinase inhibitors and CDK inhibitors. According to Bailey's research, 60% of interacting drugs are high risk with potentially severe or fatal adverse reactions, and 27 are kinase inhibitors specifically used in cancer treatment. The interaction extends to Seville oranges, pomelos, and limes containing similar compounds. Did this surprise you as much as it surprised me? Let me know in the comments. But here's one bonus tip that most doctors don't share. Timing matters as much as food choice. Research from Stanford Medical School found that eating your largest meal before 2 p.m. can improve treatment outcomes by up to 20% by aligning with your body's circadian rhythms. Cancer cells are more metabolically active at certain times, and by aligning eating patterns with your biological clock, you can potentially starve cancer cells while nourishing healthy ones. The emerging field of chronotherapy, timing treatments, and nutrition to your body's internal rhythms is revolutionizing cancer care. Additionally, research from Johns Hopkins suggests that controlled intermittent fasting windows of 14 to 16 hours may help healthy cells resist chemotherapy side effects while making cancer cells more vulnerable to treatment. However, this should only be attempted under strict medical supervision. Remember Marcus from the beginning? After implementing these dietary changes over 3 months, his energy improved dramatically, side effects decreased significantly, and his latest scans showed better treatment response than predicted. His case isn't unique. Proper nutrition during cancer treatment can be the difference between success and failure. Food truly is powerful medicine. Every single bite you take is either feeding disease or fighting it. You have more control over your healing journey than most people realize. Your body is fighting the battle of its life and counting on you to provide the right fuel while avoiding the wrong enemies. The foods we've discussed aren't just suggestions. They're evidence-based recommendations that could significantly impact whether your treatment succeeds or fails. When you eliminate harmful foods, you're actively supporting your body's incredible ability to heal and respond to treatment. Your immune system, cellular repair mechanisms, and natural cancer-fighting abilities all depend on the choices you make 3 times a day. Make those choices count for your recovery. Type yes in the comments if you found this helpful, and tell me which country you're watching from. I love connecting with viewers worldwide who are fighting similar battles. Do you want me to cover what not to eat for other conditions? Whether it's diabetes, heart disease, autoimmune conditions, or other challenges, let me know in the comments. Your suggestions help me create content that serves this community. Remember, you're not alone in this fight. Every day you choose healing over convenience. You're taking a powerful step toward recovery. Every healthy choice is an act of self-love, determination, and hope. If this video helped you or someone you love, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps me bring more doctor-backed health videos to people who need them most. Hit that notification bell so you never miss potentially life-saving information. Until next time, choose foods that heal and keep fighting the good fight. You've got this.